High school football week number 6. We catch the Handley Judges on a bye. Last week, the Judges with a home victory over the James Wood Colonels 57-16. Now joining me, the head coach of the Handley Judges, Jake Smith. And coach, a very impressive win. James Wood seems to have some success moving the ball on your team. They score early. This first half seems to be a very close competitive game, but then it comes down to a Gavin Williams interception return for a touchdown. Sort of first half to second half in your mind, what do you think really changed? And I know it was a close game, and how do you think your team handled any adversity, if you think there was some in a close game like that in the first half?
Yeah, I think like I said before, in rivalry game, there's a lot of emotions running high. We made some errors in the first half, and James Wood's athletic and they can make plays, and so anytime you make alignment assignment errors or you have concentration penalties. I mean, we had 40 yards in penalties in the first half. You're essentially giving them half the field to work with. It certainly doesn't help you out. I thought we settled down at halftime. I thought we had a good discussion in the locker room about what we needed to do and how we needed to approach the second half. I'm proud of our kids for the effort that they displayed in the second half, and turned the game around, and ended up being a win for us, which is good. But ultimately, I think we just need to start faster. I think we started slow a couple of times this year, and so obviously be a point of emphasis moving into the bye week.
So, starting offensively, Tristan Darling, your freshman quarterback, he threw an interception, and there was a fumble that was not, he is not to blame from what we spoke about earlier, but just looking back on the tape and seeing what Tristan has done, obviously he bounced back quickly from that interception. How proud are you of what he has shown so far in terms of putting that right behind him as he blasted off a couple long runs and went in for at least a touchdown or two in that game?
Yeah, I think his level of preparation allowed him to play confidently. He works hard throughout the week, and we spend time meeting and talking about things and discussing different defenses and what things look like. And so, he made a mistake on Saturday in the pass game, which is inevitable at the position. But the way that he responded to it, he brushed it off. It didn't bother him. Something we talk about all the time is just focusing on the next play. So whether that play was successful or unsuccessful, the goal is to focus on the next play at hand. And so I thought he did a good job with that. He's a very talented athlete. He can make good plays. Our O-line did a good job of blocking up front. And, he's a special type kid. Fortunate enough to have him as a freshman and to have him for 3 more years.
And looking offensive line, creating holes across the line, it seems like holes across the line to help your skill guys make big plays. It seems like all of your players are thankful for how well that O-line has done. Just in your mind, the holes they created to create big space, how do you like that aspect of the game?
Our offensive line knows that our success is predicated upon what they're able to do and produce up front. And I think they take a lot of pride, a tremendous amount of pride, in that. They're very well prepared each week. Coach Honig does a great job with them. They understand our offense and system and all of our calls and checks that we have, and being able to kind of mutate one play into 2 or 3, based upon the fronts that we're getting, on the fly on the field. That's a credit to them and the effort that they put in, and it makes us better as a team. And I think all of our skill guys recognize, what happens up front, and it allows them to be successful. And they know if, things aren't done well up front, then the successes they would have individually wouldn't exist.
And defensively, just as a whole, I know James Wood in the first half driving the ball a couple times in a quick game, but it seemed like the defense sort of turned the page after that Gavin Williams interception return for a touchdown. Can you just talk about defensively what really impressed you and maybe what changed from the first half to the second half?
Well, I think anytime you score defensively 2 weeks in a row, it helps your confidence. I think in the second half in particular, our defense played really fast and they were violent at the point of attack. And so, being able to play fast and being able to play violent and getting a good read on our keys, that's what defensive football is all about. And so, extremely proud of what they were able to display and put on the field in that second half. And we'll continue to build upon that this week and next week and rolling into the fall cure game.
So, looking to your bye week, Coach, I want to get sort of philosophy here from you. How do you maximize? Let me backtrack for just a second. So, the point you're at now, a very good point to be in, I would imagine. Only one loss on the season for this Handley Judges team. How do you look at where you are now in the bye week, and how do you maximize the amount of work in preparation to get set for your bye week up until your next opponent in Fauquier, along with some rest that I would imagine you would want to give your guys for a job well done?
Yeah, generally during the bye week, we're still going to be together 5 days, Monday through Friday. 2 of those days, we won't go outside. We'll spend time in the film room and getting better there and watching the tape. And so, when we're at practice during the bye, that the emphasis is always to get better. There are certainly things that every football team can get better at every week, and we're no different. And so, that will be our main concern and our main focus. Each position group, each player individually knows and understands what they need to do in order to get better for the rest of the year. And so we're going to worry about us, what we need to do personally here at Handley High School, and focus on, what we do offensively and what we do defensively. And we're going to work. We're going to get better at reading keys. We're going to get better at playing faster. We're going to get better at recognizing defenses. All those little details, sometimes they kind of get lost throughout the week of game planning and preparation. We're just going to take a step back and kind of go back into camp mode and work on us.
So, looking, Coach, to wrap this up, just from week one to the bye week, I sort of want to get your thoughts, the growth of your football team from week one to now. Some pretty competitive football. Unfortunately, a tough loss to Kettle Run, but overall, how pleased are you of the performance so far? And just at this point, what is the message to your team as there's more meaningful football left to play after the bye?
Yeah, I think, what we've done so far this year has been good and it's something to be proud of, but, that's in the past now. And so, our focus is now on today, what we need to accomplish today. And that should be our only focus at this point in time. And then tomorrow, our only focus should be on that particular day and that particular practice and that particular period. And that's just a rinse and repeat method that we'll use for the rest of the year. One day at a time, one practice at a time, and 1 week at a time. Just continuing to get better, holistically as players and as teammates. And so, we'll carry that into this week, and we'll carry that into the rest of the season.
Once again, the Handley Judges with a big win over crosstown rival James Wood as they have reached their bye week. As always, the head coach of the Handley Judges, Jake Smith, joining me. Coach, really appreciate your time and enjoy the bye week, sir.
Yep, thanks for having me.